Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Headspace Podcast. This is the show where we break down the new hip-hop albums track by track and give you our thoughts and opinions on every single song. Today, we will be talking about Mr. JPEGMAFIA's brand new album, All My Heroes Are Cornballs, which is a funny title. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And before we get into it, we want to let you know that we're not professionals. Even if some of us may be perceived as a little bit arrogant sometimes, we are people who just kind of go through these albums and listen to the music and try to understand the culture better, more and more every week. And by looking at albums week over week, it's like you just kind of learn a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know, for the first time since my early 20s, I feel like I'm connected to the music again. Anyway, we care a lot about what you think, so as we do go through this, we recognize that you are probably much bigger Peggy fans than we are, so feel free to drop any comments you want. Let us know what you think about along the way, and we will totally respond to those comments if you make that effort. And to show how much we love it, we always like to read the favorite comment of last week's video. Last week, what album did we talk about, Mr. Christopher?
Last week, if I'm not mistaken, was Rhapsody.
Yes, and what was the name of the Rhapsody album?
Eve.
Oh, Eve's a rapper. She's cool too. Anyway, on that, we got a comment from Mr. Justin J. And Mr. Justin J said, freak, I had it open and I hit a button. I like your humble approach, guys. I don't know who D'Angela is. If I should, I'm sorry. That was Chris. You guys are too cool. Thank you. Do you have weed under the table? I'm not going to comment on that. Be more polite to Chris. I try, guys. I really, if you saw my old videos, you would see how polite I am to Chris. You can't say to him, you are not paying attention. Shake my head. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, indeed. That's possibly like the right,
appreciate
polite
the support, guys. Thank
thing
you.
to do.
Thank you.
I don't know. I will try. It depends on how much Chris pays attention, I suppose. I mean, I know it might come off as dickish, but we do these podcasts week over week. I don't know. Over time, it's like sometimes it looks a certain way on camera. I mean, sometimes you're just Mr. Cranky Pants because it's freaking hot or you're tired, and I don't want to make excuses. Sometimes I'm just a plain... now I gotta censor out that part, but I said bad words about myself for those who heard
really
it.
Suck at this whole 3-minute thing.
No, it's fun. I'm enjoying editing it out so that you're gonna hear this kind of silence there, like we censored it on purpose. I actually said nothing there, which you can tell because the music underneath us kept playing. Anyway, this is the boring crap that probably makes so many people not watch our videos. That's okay. For those of you that stick through it, you're my besties. Special thanks in advance to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Lindell Williams, and Coney Sparks. They're awesome, so we plug them now. It's not about us here. It'll be about us at the end of the episode. Mr. Christopher, we're going to start it now. Who are we talking about today?
I see it's one of those episodes.
It's
for
JPEGMAFIA. I know you're going to say it, but come on. Does it not feel like it's an appropriate...
So for this week's Headspace album review, episode 141, we decided to go with JPEGMAFIA's new album, All My Heroes Are Cornballs.
Alright, so this is the part of the show where we try to be a little bit humble with it and tell you how little we know about the acts and stuff ahead of time because...
Oh, it's not little. I know nothing about him.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is, early on, I may have said some grandiose things like, I know shit. And then people came and was like, you don't know shit. And I learned my lesson I still get slapped in the comments on videos. Like, sometimes I wake up and I'm being called an asshole for something I said in 2017. And I'm like, fair. Sometimes I'm being told not to chastise Chris last week. Oh, well.
Last week was a good week.
But one of the things I learned is that talking to people in the comments is depending on how long you've been a fan of a particular artist or how connected you are to their music, the overall experience you get through the album is completely different.
Absolutely.
And in regards to somebody like a JPEGMAFIA, because I got the feeling there's a lot of little jokesies on these albums I missed actually just in advance because I did not listen to his previous work prior to this. So for those of you that have been JPEGMAFIA fans for a long, long time, y'all are going to feel a certain certain way about this album versus somebody who just comes into it now and hears it. Everyone might agree on whether or not something is good, but the emotional attachment to the album changes based off of your level of fandom, we'll call it. So we thought it would be fair to tell y'all where we're at with it. So Chris, what do you know about JPEGMAFIA before this? I know you already said it.
Absolutely nothing. I've heard the name actually really recently just because somebody brought it up in a conversation. I think that person actually asked me if I knew who they were, and I was like, never really listened to him. But I have heard his name before. This is one of the first times I'm sitting down and really going through a full project of JPEGMAFIA.
So, as a guy who aspires to be one of the busiest music nerds on the internet, I can't help but watch the Melon, because the Melon is the goat of what we do in music review land. Who is bigger than the Melon on YouTube? Nobody's bigger than the Melon. And the Melon loves JPEGMAFIA. I mean, I don't often find myself agreeing with everything Anthony Fantano says most often.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm sitting here going, who the fuck are we talking about?
How do you not know who Anthony Fantano is?
No, I know
Melon?
Anthony Fantano.
How do you not know the Melon?
That. I stopped watching him.
I'm doing it again. This is what the guy told me not to do.
No, but it's not anything negative.
I just completely I'm bad at that.
Completely just stopped watching Anthony Fantano. But now I know who we're talking about. Yes.
So I mean, I watch him go on about stuff. He does like track reviews. He does a lot of stuff. And let's be real, Anthony Fantano has 2 freaking popping channels, not just one that I know of. And he can just go make a video about anything and it gets like 100,000 views, and I'm pretty jealous of that. He makes 8-minute little videos. They're really they're short, but what I learned about Anthony Fantano's tastes is if it's new and interesting, he gives it good points, and if it's something he's heard before, he does not give it good points. So all things considered, since I've been paying attention to his career, which is basically since we've been doing this and it mattered for me to pay attention to his career, JPEGMAFIA is one of the few people the Melon has consistently hyped up at every opportunity. Nice. To a point where, I don't know, I got curious at a point. And then Rap Critic reviewed his track Real, and basically it was so crazed, and so I started like putting on his stuff, and then I heard this thing that made me more interested than anything I thought could have happened. You think you know me, and let me tell you something here. I watched wrestling for about 18 months of my life. And when I say wrestling, I mean WWE. And during this period, it was 2007, 2008, and I'm a Canadian. And Edge, my man, was winning shit back then. Before his back injury. I think he had a back injury. And Edge came out with the, you think you know me, on this day. Anyway, y'all know what it is, or y'all
missed the whole thing. He was so pumped up, and he did this whole this whole like big presentation. It was great. I
showed Chris what it would be like if I was a wrestler, because I have always dreamed of what it would be like to come in to an event with the music coming out. I mean, of the songs I would use, probably Fuck Authority by Pennywise. It's a good one. Nice. Come out and anyway, I should probably focus on the review. So I heard that the beatmaker tag he uses, and I was enthralled because honestly, I basically listened to Metalingus because of Edge's intro, because that was the one he had at the time, and I kind of missed the You Think You Know Me, so I'm kind of glad that somehow became JPEGMAFIA's beatmaker tag. And before we get into the album, while we're at this part, I wanted to just comment on the fact that he apparently is a one-stop shop from all of it. Mixing, mastering, beat, fucking all of it. I mean, not the video stuff, that's obviously got other people, but like from a music point of view, it's like an A to Z his album.
Nice.
And I think that's really remarkable and really interesting. Also really apparent in the way this album is made. Like, there's no way that this wasn't kind of just the one guy doing it all, and it's kind of why I think the album presents itself, how he's able to pull off this level of distinction. All that to say, I was really impressed by that fact, and I thought it would be cool to bring that up just in case I forgot later on. But this was also my first real like sit down, go through the album, and pay attention to the lyrics thing, because I've listened to some of his music. I kind of like his energy. I like the fact that there's not a whole lot that sounds like him in my little experience of life, and so paying attention this time was truly enthralling. Anyway, All My Heroes Are Cornballs is one of the best freaking album titles ever, because it's kind of like, on one hand, he's seeking out goofy people, but on the other hand, I think it's the discovery that most of the people that you consider to be heroes turn out to actually just be cornballs. And I'm not going to ever give names on this type of stuff, but I heard stories of people who met people who turned out to not be quite like the people they thought they were. And I think that happens a lot more often. Like, there's this saying that you don't want to meet your heroes, because it turns out most of the time they're probably just going to be cornballs when you actually meet them. And you don't really want to meet your hero and find out that they're a cornball. I mean, I don't. I hope Mike Shinoda's not a cornball. He's one of my biggest heroes in life. I would like to... Honestly, I don't want to meet him in case he turns out to be a cornball. Anyway, otherwise, yeah, what do you think about the title and the cover and whatnot?
Well, I like the title of the album for the same reason. The idea of, like... I kind of interpret it like the idea that the people we look up to are still just as normal and weird as, like, anyone else. He's kind of, like, taking away... I feel like he was trying to take away the sense of hero, legend, fame, celebrity, like, kind of just bringing it down to a simple form, which was cool. And just looking at the album cover, it's like he looks so weird. First impression, he looks so weird, but so fly at the same time. Really just kind of in his own vibe, in his own, like, draped out.
Don't you want a robe like that? Maybe
Yeah,
not those
like-
colors. Personally, I would like to have, like, take the pink and make it more of a darker purple, and I'd feel it more personally.
Fair.
But, like, why can't we have robes like that in life? Like, why is it not cool anymore to have cool-ass cape-ass robes?
I don't think it's not cool. I think where we live, it's not cool.
Which is relevant, I guess.
So it's cool. I think that's why I think it's weird, because it's so far from what I guess I'm accustomed to or
Especially when
used to.
there's like this dog tag in the middle of it.
Right? And then, like, I don't know. It's
In
really...
this sparse-ass room with the ghetto-ass chimney.
I kind of thought this... going into this, seeing this, I knew this album was going to be something I've never heard. Never experienced, because everything about it just kind of already gives off this very weird vibe. And I don't want to say weird in a negative tone. It's really good. It's just odd, different. Let's call it unique. So
You know what's cool, though, about it? Is it's done in a way where it's both forgettable and unforgettable at the same time. If I wasn't really looking for it, I wouldn't really pay attention and stop. Like, if I was going through the new releases on
Yeah.
Spotify, this wouldn't catch my eye, honestly.
Right.
But once you really look at it, I just realize how goofy it kind of comes off. Because it's also like a slight tilt, right? Like, it's just a slightly off-kilter picture. It's not, like, even. All of that. Once you notice it all, I feel like it kind of, like, leaves a little bit of a lasting impression. And
Like
then you
if
look
you
at the
had to-
titles, and it's like, oh, that guy's inspired by cornballs. I think it makes it extra funny. Like, he's almost satirizing his heroes by making fun of them with this off-kilter picture. And I thought that was really cool.
I think I agree with that. I think that if I was, going through the whole searching thing, I might not catch my eye as quick. But if somebody were to be like, "Hey, you remember this album?" and they were to say the name, I could picture. I think I'd be able to picture what the album looks like. So yeah, I
Anyway.
agree.
So the album starts off with a oddly titled song, Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thot.
Kind of crowd, I put my soul in a heavy bar. In every verse.
Hey Chris, how do you feel about Jesus Forgive Me, I Am a Thot by JPEGMAFIA?
It was exactly what I thought it would be, and that is weird. Like it was off the bat. It was completely different. The beat just took you to some different, like, dimension in a way, and you're like, did a good job of taking me out of did a good job of taking me out of where I was, but it really just was in a weird, it kind of puts you in a weird headspace. Now at first I thought it was kind of the title of the song, I thought it was like a play on name, like the word thought kind of relating to like slutty and kind of doing what you want. I thought he was like making a play on word, like calling himself that, which I feel like there is some type of narrative that he kind of carries through the song. But then, if I'm not mistaken, he is kind of taking this from the perspective of a woman. He's kind of I guess, expressing whatever like friends he's spoken to and how they feel or whatnot. He's taking that perspective. But it was cool. Like as a first song, it was really cool. It was really different, and I enjoyed it. I took some things down from the first verse. I like how he starts off and goes, pray you get comfy in your disguise. Pray for my thoughts on the other side. Pray for my children I can't provide. I feel 45. Pray when you shoot, it's homicide. Pray for my haters, they terrified. Come kill me, I'm verified, but I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Now, I like how he's first off kind of being a little bit cocky, kind of giving us this like boss mentality that you can't take me out. I'm still here, you know. I'm still in the rap game. I'm still doing my thing. So that was cool. But really going and breaking down to like the lyrics themselves. I like when he started off with "Pray you get comfy in your disguise." I like how he's addressing, you know, people might be hiding behind a mask. People might be trying to be something they're not, act some way they're not. If this is written from like a perspective of a woman, maybe it's like talking to the boyfriend, like they're acting a certain way that they're not truly are or whatnot. So that was cool. Pray for my thoughts on the other side. I like how that could be taken in like two ways. Kind of like if this is from a perspective of a woman, it's like her sisters, her homies, her girls, her squad. Hopefully they're good. The people she respects. Hopefully they're all chilling. So it's kind of like you got that like respect, loyalty mentality. But also from like a dude perspective, it could also be the same thing. Like he's looking out for his homegirls. He's looking out for the people he may have grown up with and people around in his area that he comes from, like who do certain things or act certain ways. So that's also really, really cool. Pray for my children I couldn't provide. I don't know if like he's openly admitting he can't provide for his kids or if he has kids or whatnot, but I guess like the overall thinking is maybe the kids from his community, the people around him that he wants to take care of and whatnot. So that was really cool. And I feel 45. Pray when you shoot. I'll feel 45. Pray when you shoot. It's homicide. Pray for my haters. They terrified. I think I may have messed up a line, but I like how he's kind of just addressing the haters, kind of telling everybody that they're kind of terrified and weirded from what he does, which I can really understand. Like right off the, like also for me off the bat, I was just like, this is completely different, but it's good. Lyrically, it is good. The flow he comes out with is so just, it has this modern touch to it, but it's different in a way. The way he presents it, the way the sound, the audio, the mixing, it's cool. I like when he goes, it came out the pocketbook every time, feel like I'm shooting, I'm shifting time, dressed in your grandma's hand-me-downs. I like that line because from, I guess, according to the Genius annotation, he normally kind of just can range from different styles. He kind of wears like unisex clothing. It could be gender controversial if it's either feminine or female or male. It could range from looking really young to looking really old. So I guess I liked how he was just really just humble about it and kind of just defining who he is, but in a really type of like boss attitude way. Like, yo,
like on what was humble about that?
Well, like he's just, I guess maybe
literally
not
his
the
next
word.
line is, "Huh, sucker, I'm prominent. I was anonymous," and I'm, you know, it's kind of braggy in a good way.
So I don't. And then I was using the wrong word. I just like how he's being honest in terms of him being like weird, like wearing the grandmother's hand-me-downs and then being still braggy about it. Like it was just kind of cool how he's got that, I guess, pride. Like he's really comfortable with doing that. So that was awesome to me. I didn't really understand the chorus. I'll be honest. Like I didn't really get what that was. So I kind of just moved on to verse 2. On verse 2, pray for my babies, they do in time. Pray for these crackers, don't Columbine. I just pray that I peak before my decline. Make 'em hit recline. You know my shooter, proper dime clarity. These bullets get entered in a clip and go into the kimber. They hit your spine. I enjoy the wordplay. I enjoy the syllable play. I like how he went, pray for my babies, they don't do time. Again, I kind of feel like he's connecting it.
Pray for my babies, they doing time, not they don't do time. That's the opposite.
Right. But I like how he's kind of speaking for his, I guess, his homies or his people in jail who are behind bars, and that was like, okay, you can see that he's doing it. He's kind of in this for somebody. He's kind of trying to, I guess, he's got like more than just for himself. Like it's still that kind of like community mentality. Pray these crackers don't Columbine. I mean, I felt a little bit, to me, it kind of felt a little bit self-explanatory. Hope there's not like a mass shooting. He's kind of bringing up he's trying to address I guess, the conversations of mass shootings and killings and gun violence. I just pray that I peak before my decline. I like that type of idea where he's like, he could fall at any moment, especially how rapid like music's changing now and artists are coming up really quickly. Like at any moment, he could probably just get shuffled under and nobody listens to him anymore. So that was cool. Make them hit recline. I guess they need to like, I guess the idea for that was more like kind of reclining. You're laying back. You're kind of taking a step back. You need to look and really go back to his old things. So that was cool. And then, my shooter's a proper dime. That kind of felt like he was addressing that he's got like women who can shoot. So that was cool. And then the bullets get entered in the clip and go into the Kimber that hit your spine. Kimber is a gun manufacturing brand, and I thought that was a nice little bit of like a metaphor, play on words type. Overall,
what was a metaphor for?
Maybe I used that wrong, but I just like the line.
Well, I mean, if it's probably, I mean, a metaphor means it represents something other than directly.
Well, I don't think it's not a metaphor. He's just using the name to connect the attachment of the shooter with the my shooter, a proper dime. And then he's just connecting that rhyme scheme and that theme with, because Kimber is a gun.
I know.
Right. So overall, I did like the song. I did enjoy it. I gave it a 4.2. I thought it was a really good intro.
All right. So I didn't say anything while Chris was talking. Just so, I didn't come off like I was being a dick. I probably still came off like I was being a dick. This video is demonetized because it brings up Columbine. That's what I realized halfway through. But right away, I think that he represents the Thot thing for himself and the way he is ambiguous with it. And it made me really just think about the alpha beta male conversation, right? So alpha males present certain things. To be a man, you gotta be a certain way. And honestly, who the fuck dresses in like this pink flamboyant outfits? And if you do, somehow it makes you less masculine. It's almost like a common narrative that you're gonna hear out there in the world. So I think he's talking about himself a little bit, representing the thoughty lifestyle thing that he's putting out there is how he sees things. And I think it's just kind of maybe a reflection on things as he goes, but when he goes to me, pray you get comfy in your disguise, pray for my thoughts on the other side. It makes me kind of picture fake people in the industry of some kind and whatever. And thoughts, I took it almost like he represented his people with that. Like and the other side, that could be death, that could be like the hood, that could be prison, that could be any kind of multiple things is how I saw that going on. I thought that was pretty nifty. As I realized he was going to be coded poetry. Like, to me, this whole song has this introspective nature where it's almost like he's like lost in his mind and he's reflecting like the depths of like how he sees things, So, pray for my children I can't provide. I almost took that like, when he comes from a given environment and then he looks around and there's all these people that he can't deal with, and regardless to the situation, he can't provide for them, probably because in spite of everything, he's not rich. I'll feel 45, which is a cool line because of his age. He'll feel old, like he can't deal with stuff, but simultaneously representing the gun. Pray when you shoot, it's a homicide, which, ties into that line. But at that point, it's like, if you're going to come at him, you better win. It's almost like an open threat to his haters. Pray for my haters, they terrified. Come kill me, I'm verified. I think that verified is literal. Like, social media has verified him. Like, he's fucking, got a Genius video coming and a few other things. Like, people take him seriously. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty fascinating. It just, to me, starts off in this strong way where you get the sense that he's not necessarily satisfied with the condition of where his life is, and he's willing to speak out in a way where he is not willing. It's almost like you can tell he's using these like feminine lines, like pray I end up like Charlize Theron to fuck with you. Like, you're supposed to be like throwing up by the fact that he's gonna drop some weird women crap, such as dressed in your grandma's hand-me-downs. I took that like, yeah, so what? I am. I'm man enough to wear your grandma's hand-me-down shit, and you're a weak-ass pussy person for not being able to do that. And the truth is, I'm with him on that, man. Like, if you really can't wear your grandma's hand-me-downs for XYZ reason, I mean, and you think that makes a person whatever, that says more about you than it does about that person. Like, there's a lot of conversations about what's masculine. All I can tell you about what being a man is to me is taking care of your shit. You take care of your shit, you're a man. If you don't take care of your shit, you're a little person who whines and whatnot. And often you'll see people criticizing off of some superficial crap like what they wear or how they, present themselves, and they don't actually look at the talent. Because if you consider what JPEGMAFIA has done here with his music, because sonically it's an experience, right? Like, the beat's ridiculously interesting. It's got this thumpy, pulsating, chaotic feel to it. But it really just catapults almost like you're inside of his mind and feeling the exact emotions that represent what he wants you to feel on this track. So you get, and he flows in with actually really sick rhyming and whatnot. And it's just like, okay, I can see how a lot of people might not necessarily like what he's doing. But then to go one step further and almost dress in a certain way to stand out further, or to have your brand almost, I don't know if this is his whole career, but it almost seems like he wants you to judge him because it proves the point of how weak you are. And that's what I really, really like about it. Then I don't know, I thought the chorus was cool. I can't feel my face, you're completely gone. Oh God, SMH, no ASMR. And I'm like, that's a weird line, because shake my head in ASMR is the crap on YouTube where you're supposed to, like, I guess sleep, or I don't know, half the people watch that get turned on. Show me, and you can tell because the girls are half naked in half these videos, okay? It's not my fault, that's the market for it. Show me where the profits go, show me how to keep my pussy closed. I just feel like in all of this, there's this weird, like, conflict inside, like, almost questioning if living this lifestyle that he's been living, let's say, makes sense, She said, you better count your blessings for real, amen. I mean, if the industry is as fake as it almost makes it sound like at the beginning, I'm like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. You're living in this fragmented situation where maybe you lived this life for a while and you're not satisfied for it. And I'm supposing here, I don't really know what his past music lyrically embodies. But I do like how that second point comes in. Pray for my babies, they do in time. Pray for these crackers, don't call them by. So from that I took it. It's like, yo, if you black, you're going to go to jail for shit. But if you white and you're a school shooter, you were freaking insane. Or, there's like this criminalization of one group. But another group just gets easy access to guns or whatever. And I don't want to go too political with it. But the way the media covers school shootings and the people who do them is freaking... It's a weird one. That's all I'm going to say about that. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. I just pray that I peak before my decline, make him hit recline. So I thought that was nifty because on the one hand, it could be about the career, but if you look at what's going on, there's the systematic oppression of him and his people. So it could be a cop kills him, or it could be that he's just an innocent standby as somebody goes and commits another mass atrocity because every week? I don't know. I don't pay attention anymore. There could be 3 shootings this weekend, and frankly, it would go over my head because evidently Americans don't want to change the laws. It's not our country. I don't know. It's not, as in my place, it's not in my constitution to bear. There's no right to bear arms in Canada, is what I'm trying to say. Our gun laws are pretty secure. We made a whole video on gun laws, remember? I don't know. And then I kind of look at the bullets that in that thing that's coming in as a representation of lyrics too, because that's his gun in a sense. So it could both literally be the bullets of society, but also the rumors and the comments and the bars and the way this whole works in, because he goes, Britney, this is a sign. I don't know. It just made me picture Britney Spears. Pray you grow healthy and hit your prime. So it's almost like if you look what happened to her, is that going to happen to Peggy? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm going too deep into it. But what I also really like is he goes, 2035, I'll be 45, which is interesting because he brings up being 45 in the first verse, kind of tying it in. And then thinking about the future. In 2035, man, I'm going to be 47. That's the truth about that. Hell, I think I turned 48-ish. Anyway, I really like this song. I thought it was really cool. And then kind of the way this album's constructed, The start of the next song almost always seems to be the last like 20, 30 seconds or
Right.
so of the previous song. So it fades into this outro. And I just love when he's like, praise the motherfucking Lord, because it almost has this questioning tone, like maybe there is some God presence in his life. On the other hand, it almost feels like it's a metaphor for just the conflict inside of himself. And I like the way he ends it. Like, life is just confusing. The video is kind of fun to watch. I don't have a lot to comment on it. It was just kind of fun to watch. But it wasn't anything I really remember. I thought about it. I can't remember very much about it, except that I thought it was fun to watch. Anyway, I thought this was a very strong start to the project. Something I actually would want to go back and listen to. And is one of it's a good way to start it off, because it is, in my opinion, one of the best tracks on the project, and it's a good thing to make you want to like get engaged and go listen to it further and see what comes next. Anyways, next up we have Kenan versus Kel.
I make a good beat. Get nervous when niggas want features. I'm gon' make
Apparently, Kenan versus Kel is a show that I've never heard of or seen or watched.
It was a good show growing up, and that's why I actually like how he presented this song.
Okay, go on. Because I don't know what that show is.
It's from Kenan and Kel was a show about if I'm not mistaken, it's two black dudes who work at a burger shop, and or they're actually they're two comedians, and they work and they were part of also the whole kids on fucking Disney Channel or like YTV, I think it's Disney. They had a thing called and it's like it's kind of like a SNL but for kids. It was like a Saturday Night Live but for kids. And the show that I remember them on was this burger show. And
Is that game show where like they had the slimes and shit?
then All That. It's called All That.
Okay,
The comedian show is called All That. It's with a bunch of kids, and they had like celebrities that would come on, and Kenan and Kel were on that show as well.
I don't think I ever saw that. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you for correcting me. But the one that I remember is like, I guess it's like the skit of Good Burger. It's called Good Burger, and they would play they would play the cashiers, and Kenan, one of them was always more like calm, collected, kind of like Mr. Nice, whatever. And the other one was like very out there, hyper, always ready to go and stuff like that. So what I liked about the way he presented this was one verse, part one, kind of felt more serious, kind of more collected together, more calm, and just that type of vibe. And then the second part was more rambunctious and had this type of flow energy and going through. So I really did how he represented both of these two characters. So that was something like a little bit nostalgic to me. So that was cool. Again, I'm starting to kind of feel like this song kind of was just bars in a sense. But I did like what he said on verse 1, because when I'm rolling, I'm dressing up like Prince Peach. And if you send in Marios to defend me, you better make sure to break all the Grammys, kill all the winners, losers, nominees. Now, I like that line because I feel like we're getting this context of how he kind of looks at himself in terms of just the way he dresses, the way he carries himself. I like how he's using the Mario game connection, because I feel like he's saying, because he's Princess Peach, the way he dresses and the way he kind of, I guess, at least in the album cover, kind of looks a little bit royalty, those nice colors. Princess Peach was always like, captured by Bowser, so Mario would go and save her. But I like how this idea, I guess the way I'm interpreting it is like, if you're sending Marios to defend me, you better make sure they break all the Grammys, kill the winners, losers, and nominees, in a way of like not wanting to have any type of, I guess, competition, type of status, type of, it's like we should all just be together and just make music. We should just kind of all enjoy the creativity that we have. So that was cool to me.
But I also feel like take out the competition in a more direct way. Like, don't fucking just sit here and passively do something.
Right.
Like, this is the situation. Deal with it.
Right. No, I can see that. Off probation, crackers, Hayden, accusations only on occasion. I don't want relations, had some thoughty phase, strip, home invasion, fuck with me, man. Now, for that, I feel like he's kind of just breaking down some things he's been through in his past and kind of just giving a little bit of who he is. Off probation, crackers, hating. I feel like he's, but it sounds like if he's off probation, he's not dealing with the law right now. He's not really in trouble or anything, so that's good news. Crackers, hating. Seems like white people are hating the fact that he might be off probation or he might not be in trouble or whatnot. Accusations only on occasions. I like how it's like not all the time are they really like accusing him of some things, but it's like special things when they can really pin it on him, or maybe that's like a reference to being like, if you're a black person, on certain occasions they can just pin it on you and you really can't have, like, you don't really have a say or you can't do anything about it. So that's kind of what I took from that line. It was really cool to me. I don't want relations. Not really looking for anything serious. He's just trying to do himself, just trying to be him and the way he wants to just live. Had some thoughty phases, strip, home invasions, fuck with me. So I feel like he's giving off like, yo, this is how I kind of do. I like to fuck around. I like to have some fun, but I'm also down for some grimy shit like breaking into your house and stealing if I need the money, if I need to go on some hood shit, let's call it, right? So it was really cool that kind of like that different contrast that he's kind of showing off, that he's really complex. Like he's got these different layers to him. I feel like the chorus is kind of breaking down him having anxiety in terms of like how people perceive him, if I'm not mistaken. The relation of like making music, being a producer, seems, and how like he's kind of showing himself how it doesn't sound like he's trying to make money and people kind of look at him like he is. Maybe he's trying to sell out or whatnot. I think I may have interpreted this wrong.
I look at it like he was actually just being really self-aware and shit, right? So I feel like a lot of this album has him kind of exploring his emotional state as he takes on fame, right? I think he's just one of those dudes that's just breaking down as he sees it. I mean, you see it right from the beginning of this. Man, I really wish I was Illuminati. What a fascinating line, right? Like, I'm not powerful. I don't really have that. I kind of wish I was, though. People waiting on the peg like I'm dropping Yandy. Too black, too strong, I'm a little thotty. So it's almost like you look at that and it's like people are excited, stoked for what he's coming from. And in a sense, the way he's comparing himself to someone like Yandy, it's almost like people are curious about who he is, right? Why are you comparing yourself to Kanye? Probably because you're out there, you're a little bit different. Maybe, you're too black, too strong. Maybe you're also a little thotty in the way that you've approached things and whatnot. So people are super curious. Even the melon is sitting there, stroking your ego and whatnot. But fuck a big speech, because when I'm rolling, I'm dressing up like I'm Prince Peach, and so it's almost like, but whatever, I'm gonna come in the way I do things, right, etc. So he kind of presents this whole thing. Maybe he's just feeling some complicated situations going. He's kind of putting it out like he's almost militant with it. He's feeling frustrated, distrustful almost of a situation is what I would say you get from that first verse. Like he doesn't feel, you don't come off like he's feeling super comfortable and stuff. And then when that hook kicks in, how we gonna make this bullshit work for real? How we gonna make this work facts? But like, how can I even make a good beat? I get nervous when people want features. How am I gonna make this work? Right. That sounds to me like a person who is now all of a sudden getting that fame that they've been looking for. They're finally having things work in a particular way, and all of a sudden it's the real anxiety that comes with that. Like these sound to me like actually sincere, almost verbatim emotions that he's going through. And then in his insecurity, as you pointed out, with the way the characters flip up, one was meek, the other one was more out there, the beat then flips in, so it's like the end of that insecurity. And then what do you get? Skirt, run it up. Yeah, buddy. Bitch, I come back like the Jack and Dax off the shelf. I don't know if a Jack and Dax is something you know about.
Yes, it's a video game. I've played it. It's a great game.
Okay, shopping my Target. I'm wishing you well. Which is cool because Target's a store that failed in Canada. It didn't do very well. Honestly, it was over a computer software inventory fucking issue. It was weird. It was like software that fucked up everything. I'm wishing you well. I don't think prayer can help. This feel like Kenan and Kel. These broke like Adele. I get it, Adele, but also Adele, the company, because that computer's trash and they break. It's funny, Dell used to be good. They're not no more. People melt, I'm gonna shoot you, don't sell. I don't think prayers or poems or nothing can help. So as this, the beat's explosive and he's kind of coming in. So he presents this anxiety in like the first part and then explodes into maybe a more confident tone, but it's still not like this makes a difference in the grand scheme of things. And I found that like kind of depressing overtone of this song awesome in a sense. I was very fascinated. I'm like 2 tracks in, this is really hype, this is really interesting. The first part of the beat's kind of calmer, then it explodes again, and I just like the versatility he's showing, and it just feels so like he combed over every second of the song to make sure every weird sound was placed perfectly, and it just reflects the level of attention he does. From the beatboxing-y kind of sounds at the beginning, it's really interesting. I don't know if you know what I mean, but like there's so many sounds that he just uses that like he's more than just the MC here. He's really just the whole package, and it really feels like the whole composition reflects his spirit, and I really dig that authenticity with it. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5 personally.
I gave the song a 4.2. I liked it. I like I think I like it more just because I can kind of visually see the verses as characters. I can kind of see the Kenan and the Kel in the different verses in terms of what I used to watch. I also like how I also kind of get a sense there's going to be a lot of references that I might actually understand in terms of maybe what he's watched or experienced or grown up with, since we're only, 4 years apart? I'm 25, he's 29,
I guess.
I understand. So it was pretty cool just to kind of see just some things that I'm actually going to be able to possibly relate to. So I enjoyed that.
Next up, though, we have some more social commentary, because a lot of y'all alpha males out there really drop these beta male strategies.
I won't do it like this. Say what you said on Twitter right now.
This song is pretty dynamic and alive, but I swear it starts off and he's like fucking eating. Like he was literally eating in the studio. Ain't no details. He has like that sound going on as he records and starts the intro. Like he couldn't be bothered to finish chewing. And I think that's hilarious because, you know, it almost paints a picture of, I guess, who he's targeting, you know? Like,
well, it also kind of plays on the ain't no details. Like, it's not even, you're not taking the time to really have the details of the song. He's just adding whatever is there. Like, if he's eating, he's eating. If the beat's on, he's recording it. So that was cool.
And then I like how he goes, ain't no real money in rap. It's all retail. And that's true, man. The actual money is not in rap. It's in the retail that surrounds the rap, the music, the products that get sold on tour, etc. And you might think that's not the case, but content is king, but it's not exactly like content makes you money by itself like it once did 5 years ago, or even when you were younger. But content now, like, it's kind of an auxiliary advertising platform to sell retail shit. I don't know. I like when he goes, I'm only in it for the cash. I'm a gold digger. And again, he's like playing up on these feminine terms to describe himself because he's bold like that. When I die, when I die, my tombstone's Twitter, saying, you know, and then he goes into it.
Which is dope.
But it's interesting how, and he references like this idea in a few ways, where he recognizes that the imprint that he's leaving via content online was going to immortalize him as a person. And that's something I can relate to. Because even if I died today, there's how many hours of like conversation out there that they could like totally make an AI out of me at this point.
Right.
They could have I've said so many words and letters and sounds that they could completely recreate me into a bot. And I think that's super cool. I could be immortal even if it's not me. And that's a dream of mine. I can't wait, man. Scan me. Get my brain up in that shit. Put me into a robot, yo. I want to know what it's like to be a robot. I want to meet me. I might not like me. I'd fucking hate me. But I still want to meet me so I could hate me. Like, y'all might not be. I'm going to keep going. Ain't no details, ain't no conversations, ain't no real money in rap. It's all in retail. It's all outrage. And then he adds on to the idea, because the truth is outrage is a form of currency that's going on. Y'all put this pussy in prime position. Young Peggy, I'm a false prophet, bringing white folks this new religion. My fans need new addictions. So I thought that was fascinating, because it's almost like he recognizes that a lot of his fans are white, which I kind of got the feeling from his music based on how, you know, but it's the types of people who are kind of bored with all of the different kinds of mainstream. So a guy like Anthony Fantano, who has heard it all for a decade, is going to be excited by this because he needs that new addiction. And honestly, what makes this album riveting and fun for me to review and listen to is because what have you heard that sounds like this?
No, for sure.
So it's alive. And even if you don't necessarily like it, it feeds this new addiction in a sense because it's giving you this new craving for this new sound that nobody else is able to do, which I think is interesting. It's like he's trying to, I don't know, bring his own brand of things up there and recognizes the power of what it is.
Well, I also think that this song also has a narrative of talking about social media.
Yeah. But like, yeah, go on.
Well, I was going to quote, people be talking shit. I tell them pull up, bitch, cease to exist, don't get exposed. And
keep code, which I think is important.
Only in it for the cash, I'm a gold digger, shit post. And that's where I go, okay, so when I hear shit posting, I'm associating it to social media, I'm associating it to whatever like shitty meme or my friends when they make references to shit post memes. And I like how he's kind of going at the people who are, in a way, I guess, commenting on his social media.
I don't think it's just like his social media. I think it's just there are people who get their jollies and think they're a real man.
And just talking shit.
And they'll use words like, I'm an alpha male, because I'm up here on the internet being blah, blah, blah. And it's almost like having this internet persona that's tough. This tough guy image makes you feel like you're a real man.
Right.
And so I think in his character, he's behaving what I would more perceive like a real man, repping himself, being proper, by my definitions, while almost using effeminate terms on himself and fucking with you, because some people will like, look, yo, if you wear some girly crap, you're not a real man.
Right.
But I can sit there and call you a bitch on the internet, and that makes me a real man. I think he's trying to expose that shit, you know? I think he's trying to like go like, yo, are you really real here?
Well, right. And then we like move on to the second verse where there's no chorus, but there's no like hook or chorus between the first and second verse. It just goes right through. We gonna do it like this. Say what you said on Twitter right now. You only brave with a board and a mouse. You wasn't talking when I put you in the ground. Don't leave the house. Don't get capped by a homie in a motherfucking gown.
And I guess that's again playing it up, right? Something that's super fascinating is a lot of people, when they're dealing with people on the internet, everybody's a fucking dick.
Right.
Everybody's a fucking asshole. And I'm not saying everybody. In fact, our audience has been super cool lately. I don't know. Maybe we're not being dicks, so they're not being dicks. But like in general, so many people get so much hate. Here's the thing. When we do reaction videos,
yep,
and we get this younger audience coming in, oh my gosh, the amount of fucking mean things they say makes me almost like reconsider, do I want to attract the young people? This attitude. At the very least, when you make long-ass videos, it's a certain type of person that can appreciate the effort you put in.
Right.
So they're a little bit kinder in the comments. That's you guys being awesome over there.
Thank you.
But, like, on the reaction side, I've noticed people are just willing to be... I've been called, like, stupid, like, too stupid to know anything about music so many times in the last year on that channel. I'm like, damn, man, it's like you have to like everything. You have to love everything. You have to... And it's just, there's so many rules to the internet that I don't understand. But needless to say, everybody on the internet with opinions goes through this, right? You see everybody comment on it. But then there's this other strange phenomenon that when they're in the streets, everybody's nice and kind to them, like they're the freaking heroes of life.
I like to think it's just the idea of like we're now living this double life. We're all living this. This is me in real life. Like, okay, this is me at my job. I'm Christopher Johnson. I'm doing this, blah, 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 blah. But then when I'm at home and I go on my computer, my phone, whatever, it's like I'm now, let's call it Chris Chrome. I'm now Christopher Johnson on the internet, which behind a screen, I can be anybody. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to, I'm not standing up to it's not like, I saw a meme. I saw a post where it goes, "Fuck work today. I don't need my job. Unless you're my boss and reading this, then I really appreciate all the opportunity you've given me, and I'd really like to grow in the company." And that really screamed at me because I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna say it. I wake up and go like, you know, fuck work once or twice every morning, but
You know what gets me?
What?
Is the people who somehow are posting about how they got a new job every 3 months. And you're like, well, no shit. No shit, you can't, like, fucking get a good job. Because you keep posting about how bad you are at keeping a job. If we're going to talk about social media, because hold on. I had a moment on a real life story. This guy complained about Montreal's bus service, which...
Oh, here we go.
Objectively speaking,
Here we go.
Montreal has one of the best bus services for the price we pay. Like, it's really cheap and affordable. As in, like, it cost us, honestly, for a bus pass, under 100 Canadian a month, which is an amazing price relative to... No, it is. How much is a bus pass? 80, 90 bucks?
Okay, so hold on.
A bus pass, a monthly bus pass.
Yes, let me finish. So on the island of where we live, yes.
That's all that I'm talking about. Montreal. Anything off the island is somebody else's bus pass. Like, if you're in a Laval, then it's two separate companies you're dealing with.
I mean, for mine to go everywhere, have a whole, like, bus pass thing when I was at my mom's, it was like 180.
Yeah, but you were not living in Montreal. You were living off the island.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I had...
But
I had access to the island.
But then what I'm saying is you're paying for two separate bus systems, so of course it costs more money.
Fair.
I'm saying for the people that live in Montreal that pay for the one bus system, because like if you never leave Montreal, this is only a problem for people who live off island.
Fair.
Which is like living in the burbs, we'll call it. I mean, fair enough. Like, it's out there.
No, fair enough.
Like, you basically need a car to live out there, in my opinion.
Yep, no, it's true, and there's really nothing to do.
So, like, it's, like, not populated bus lines and etc. But on island, it's like 85 to 90 bucks. I get it on a discounted rate, let's say.
650.
Right. So that's all we pay. In Toronto, you're going to be looking at almost $200 a month for their bus pass, if not more. I think it's like, something like $150, $200 all over. Yeah. And whatever. What I'm trying to point out is that we get like one of the cheapest bus services out there, objectively speaking. Dude puts a rant online. That's fine. But one of the things about his rant and their poor service was that like their bus drivers were like paid outrageously. And I'm like, are they? What's outrageous to you? And I looked it up. Bus drivers start at $50K and with overtime and bonuses can make $70K a year. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like a bad price for a bus driver. Like, that doesn't seem like exorbitant enough that they're being like overpaid and should somehow pay these guys less, right? I'm like, $50K is not a good salary in Canada. It's not American dollars, it's Canadian dollars. So that's like $32K American. So like, it's not popping. It's just like, it's an okay salary. It's nice. These guys got to drive through rush hour traffic with a lot of people on. Buses are an essential city service. And then so I commented and said I think it's strange that you're mad about how much they get paid. You know, and I pointed out that this isn't exactly great salaries. Some other healthcare workers all like, you know what? I'm a healthcare person and I make less than him. Blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm like, who cares? You're both important to the city. 9 days out of 10, I need a bus driver in my life because I take the bus more than I need a doctor. Not to say that anyone is more valuable than others, but like, if you live in a major city like mine, having access to a bus driver makes my monthly travel costs go from $400 to $500 a month, the minimum amount to have a car in Montreal, to the bus pass price of like $85. So fuck that shit, bus drivers. Let's get these guys in. Let's get them paid properly. We need them happy so they don't kill me. Anyway, I had to say, dude, back the fuck out, and posted some passive-aggressive crap, like, literally after, like, fine, I'm never gonna say anything on the internet again. Is that what all of you want? And I'm like, yo, basically, like, I don't know. Somehow this song really reminded me of that moment because it happened today. And
I hate that cop-out.
I had to resist commenting on that guy's thing because his dad knows my mom, and you know how that shit goes. But, like, for real, these people are fragile. That when I see that line, I'm like, yo, it's true. I might come off like a serious goofball to a lot of y'all, but what I say on the internet is exactly what I.
By the way,
yeah, which I figured they would know because I'm pretty sure. Anyway, you know what? I'm not going to assume. But what I would say is Chris can attest to the fact that whatever I am like on the internet is literally how I am as a person. So good or bad, this isn't an act. This is just me. I'm reals, and when I post online is literally what I would say to your face. Thankfully, nobody's hit me yet because I can talk pretty well. But, like, all I'm saying is don't say shit if you can't back it up in real life. If you're not willing to say that to somebody, don't say it. So if you're going to put a thing on a Facebook, That's a public place. You don't have no private over there. Expect people to respond and crap. I don't know if that's related to the song, but I just had to get it out. My little rant. Y'all are the people I talk to in life. Anyway.
I just wanted to, I don't want to stay on this for too long, but I
know,
do have.
I'm done. I just had to get my story out.
I do have a point to that though. What bothers me is, yeah, I'm okay with everybody choosing to put their own comments and say what you say. Okay, do what you want. But if you decide to put your comment and somebody responds, like, you don't have to read it. Like, if you intentionally...
You also can delete their comment.
I mean, sure, that's the thing. It's like, if you just want to troll, shit post, and do whatever, do you. But, like, you let yourself get affected.
And even if we want to play like free speech principles,
right?
I am freely within my free speech allowed to say your post was not well researched or intelligent to make.
I do just want to put my opinion. If you're gonna argue with somebody on the internet and then turn around and something along the lines of "fine, I'm never just gonna say anything on my opinion," that's the bullshit cop out.
Here's what I could say. It makes me go, "Thank goodness, man." Just no, really. Honestly, when I saw his post after, I'm like, "Good. I'm glad you deleted that piece of shit post, and you're not gonna post stupid things." I honestly felt like I did a service to the world after. I know I'm a bit of
five.
Yeah, I know how I come off here, but like, it's just don't shame people because you don't understand how shit works. Understand how shit works a little bit more before. And I used to be a stupid ignoramus that posted dumbass shit, but this dude's my age. I know this dude. Like
ignoramus.
Look, all I'm trying to say is, I think we all need to take a little bit more accountability in the bold ass proclamations we make on the internet.
I feel you.
Because like everything's weird these days, kind of like what JPEGMAFIA is talking about. And if you're not willing to stand by what you say, don't say it.
Talking about weird and bringing it back to the album.
I tried right there, right?
Yes. You rap been so good to me. I hope it gets me canceled. Now, cancel culture. I've noticed something in my own viewing of whatever the fuck goes on. Cancel culture only makes everybody bigger, everybody richer, and everybody more famous.
That's not true. It makes I want to just say everybody but the person being canceled. Because sometimes being canceled fucks up your life if you're not rich enough to bounce back.
So, okay, fine. I agree if you're not rich enough to bounce back or if you don't have the means. But from what I keep seeing, like, cancel this person, cancel that person, and then 2 months later, it's like their new album, their new this, their new that.
Well,
and
look, there's a difference between, like, people calling for somebody to be canceled over everything, which is like the boy crying wolf is what we're seeing now, and actual campaigns to get people canceled, which, if you look at R. Kelly, got the dude in jail. So, like, if you look at Harvey Weinstein, it didn't go well for him at the end of it all.
I'm probably wrong, but didn't R. Kelly's streams go up? And didn't, like, things...
That doesn't change the fact that he is effectively canceled at this point.
Okay.
Effectively, because, I mean, another tape came out and he was in big trouble, and I don't see how he bounces back from that one, even with all the money in the world. Look, cancel culture is complicated because some of it is fake and is being constructed to make a lot of money for people. And other parts, like, people's lives actually get ruined.
So then, let me just say my original point. Rap been so good to me. I hope it gets me canceled. I like how, from what I interpret, if you're at the point where people are trying to get you canceled, I think he's saying you're rich enough.
Yes. So I think that is a fair thing to bring up. I completely agree with that, right? Because the truth is, or significant.
But that's what I'm trying to explain in terms of cancel culture. It's like once you've hit that threshold and people are like, now it's time to attack you.
I'm going to change it just from rich to relevant.
Okay.
Because you might not be rich, but you're somebody if people are trying to cancel you.
I agree.
Y'all hope that I'll be dead soon. Bitch, I must be scaring you. I packed a fixer in case you bitches want a scandal. I came Glock with the dick and y'all be typing it. Y'all ain't gonna do shit in your pussy ass life. So what I took from the rest of that is based on all of these things is like, look, like I said, if you're a person willing to say what you gotta say in real life, and this is the real principles of what you put out there, these are your researched, backed up beliefs, what you actually care about, it's not for attention or whatever, then you're going to be a certain way. And I think he's that way. Whereas he's responding here to all of the ridiculous people who aren't going to go past Twitter. And if you were to go up to them in real life, you know, sometimes these things happen where people will be like really dickish in the comments, and I'll challenge them and they basically backtrack. Half the people backtrack, half the people double down. But like, there's a surprising number of people who will go like, look, I'm really sorry, I was being a dick. And it's really incredible to me how, like, then in a sense, and I really appreciate when people backtrack there, don't get me wrong, but like, obviously when you said that, it was just like some grandiosity because you were feeling a certain way, but in real life you would never say that to my face. You wouldn't, because you'd look me in the eye and I'd look you right back and be like, okay, what are you doing? And I really hope you have an answer to that. And if you do, I'd shake your hand and be like, that's fucking blessed, because I'm not really about that, whatever. I really do respect my haters who have shit going for them. Something petty I do is if you comment negatively on my video and you have more than 0 subscribers, I click on your channel to see what your video is and I leave positive comments on your videos. I leave happy, encouraging comments on your videos. If you're a dick.
I'd be so mad.
Exactly.
I mean,
even if I answer like a complete dick on my channel, I will leave you a positive, encouraging comment on your channel.
I'd be like, okay. All right, so back to...
That was a big tangent part here. 4.5 on 5. There's some guitars in it. Some static gets brought into verse 2 to really add some element to it. There's some weird laughs at the end. The beat has an insane amount of customized production that really just takes this to a really cool and engaging level. 4.5 on 5.
I gave it a 4.3. The beat was very good. Like, I can appreciate the production of it, but I think that like it felt like it overpowered a lot of his voice. There's certain parts that just I guess it's part of what he's trying to do, which I totally appreciate and respect. Just it's a hit or miss, I guess, sometimes. Like, I guess depending on the song. So 4.3, it's still a really good mark, but I do like, just as a final point, I do like the overall type of, this is how he reacts to, from what I understood about the song, this is how he reacts to social media on his, like, for him, this is how I interpret it. This is how he feels when he reads a lot of the comments, when people are like just talking shit and they don't really know, they don't really want to take that time. So that was cool how he gave us like these different type of scenarios and experiences on what he would do, how he feels and how he acts, and that creativity was nice.
Awesome. So next up, when you're shopping onto YouTube for some beats, you might be typing up in there, JPEGMAFIA type beat.
It started on SoundCloud.
So apparently, certain JPEGMAFIA fans compare him, to Death Grips. So he samples Death Grips here, which I think is him being self-aware of his criticism. And so that's what the sample is in this. I love the name of this track because YouTube is just full of it. Not just YouTube, SoundCloud, everybody who sells beats. Like, you can tell when that beat wasn't really an original thought or idea. They just named the beat after what inspired it. Like, yeah, this sounds like the beat JPEGMAFIA would make. I'm trying to make myself a little JPEGMAFIA beat. And there's probably like 800,000 JPEGMAFIA type beat files right now online. Right. Made by cornball-ass fucking beat makers. There's everybody-ass fucking type beats out there. If you're a producer of some kind, and not just a producer, if you're a rapper with a particular beat style, Future type beat, Eminem type beat. Like, what the fuck is an Eminem type beat? That guy's got like 15 separate styles of shit. Does it mean Rick Rubin sampled heavy drums? You know what I mean?
Okay, like I use the type beats whenever I'm freestyling with the homies. Like, just when I started rapping, that's what we would do. And I think what I would do is, if I was like, I don't know, Eminem type beat, Lil Wayne type beat, Drake type beat, you know, I've listened to these artists enough to know how they kind of sound, flow, put their words together, and what ends up happening, I guess for me, is I end up rapping like them. So like,
if you were to say like Drake type beat, I feel like you pictured his R&B sound, because
that's the thing too. But you end up.
But then again, when you really think it through, what era? Because all these guys have multiple eras of sound. Look, it's basically a cop-out clickbait convention. Basically, it's a way for you to get views.
Yep.
And people come into your shit, and you not even being original. I think it's weird as a phenomenon.
I think some of the beats are dope though.
They are.
Some of the beats I find that are type
I
beats.
think clickbait's clickbait. That's what it is. However, I also like the fact that he sampled the "Wow, we're getting stronger" from that Death Grips to take a little shot at his fans, adding some ad-libs of himself. And it just kind of feels like a little break from the album, but it also doubles over as a perfect introduction to the next track, which basically it flows into 100%. I thought the energy was cool, and I gave it a 4.25 on 5 because it just kind of felt like it was there and it was cool.
So I listened to this song first off, and it really annoyed me, and then I found out why when I read the Genius annotation. It kind of resembles the overproduced tags that producers put in a lot of these type beats, in a lot of the songs and a lot of the instrumentals. And as somebody who goes to SoundCloud, YouTube, all this stuff to just practice at home by myself or whatever, it is really annoying when you feel like you've got a nice, like, couple bars you want to spit, and then in the middle of the verse, out of fucking nowhere,
beats.
Yeah, like, it's just, you know,
Brooks, beats.
It's annoying, and it throws you off, and it ruins the whole beat. And it's like, you know, throw it in a chorus, throw it at the beginning or the end. I don't give a fuck. But,
see, it's annoying like that.
Oh god, but this song for me, I understand what he was doing and the purpose, but it just really sounded like noise.
I liked it.
It just sounded irritating.
It was good.
But I get the point and I get the concept. One thing that I would say that I think I may have more appreciated was if it was more the way I expressed it. Have him kind of like spitting bars and then have it like interrupt, like
in the middle or
whatnot.
You wouldn't have been able to sample the Death Grips and take shots at your fans.
You could have that interrupt his verse. It doesn't like he
that's
just
the whole thing. It's a little interlude.
Which I agree.
That's not a verse. That's literally the same lines just sampled over and over and over again.
Fair enough.
Which I think actually drills and doubles down on your point of satirizing annoying beatmaker tags, because it's just like an ongoing tag with some extra ad-libs.
Fair enough.
So if anything, I think your idea was good.
I gave it a 3.8.
That's very cool. It does roll absolutely perfectly into the next track.
It's a banger.
Grimy Waifu.
Man, you know what I'm saying. I ain't got no bird.
So there's like these really jarring and like audible pauses in the beat, like it's honestly like reminiscent of when a CD skips. That's going on in this track in the middle of it, and I thought that was just cool. Just like the level of immaculate detail he puts into creating these dynamic and alive experiences, and the way he starts all of these songs, just consistently these little intros and stuff, just feels like the songs were done and he spent like 6 months just working on the intros and outros, making everything feel just perfect. Like it was really like he fine-tuned the shit out of this.
Song's a banger.
I don't like this one as much as the other ones personally. According to him, it sounds about a gun. I'm like, okay, these bullets coming at you. Take these bullets from me. That's my Grimy waifu. They keep on dumping the tool. Take these bullets from me. That's my ooh. Take these bullets coming at you, and that's the hook. It kind of sings it at you, and it's. I mean, I took it like it's both like, you know, maybe a literal thing, but also like lyrically, these are the bullets he's flying in your way. You know,
I kind of took it as a couple things. Literally, the gun concept. The gun violence and the bullets are coming at you. Lyrically, his lyrical bullets, all the whatever. I kind of interpreted that it could also be like a love song in a way in terms of referencing.
So
the
his semen is the bullets.
I mean, that could be it. And the last one is the last thing I interpreted as well when we get through the song is the music industry and how using the term bullets as like, because bullets, violence, death, guns, blood, dangerous situations. It could relate to like dangerous situations in the industry, watching your back. This is what kind of like, people are shady, this and this and this. Reason why I kind of bring that up is because in the first verse, or is this just like a one verse?
It's just kind of a one verse.
So in the verse, he goes, I ain't got no Burke bags. Fuck with me, you gon' get that price or tap. I think it's actually tags. I don't think it's tap because he kind of goes like, fuck with me, you gonna get the price or tags. So I actually think it's tags. Music biz don't give no pat on the back. Ugh. Stack it up, stack it up, stack it up, stack it up, pack it up, pack it up, pack it up. Whoa, hold on, man. Grow, live at the day's end. So part of me kind of feels like he doesn't have no Burke bags. I think like Burka bags, or like, is it expensive bags? So he's kind of like not really into like fashion or designing or like high brands. He kind of just takes himself. Fucking with me, you get the price. Or I guess if it is tap, it relates to a lot of the guns, violence that we've gotten before. It does relate to the gun, the tap, the double tap. You'll get shot. You gonna get the price. The price could have been your life, the cost of whatever it is. I also think it does sound like tag, as in like a toe tag on a dead body, a John Doe. I mean, it kind of fuck with me. You gonna get the price or a tag. I mean, it could be one or the other. So music biz don't give no pat on the back. So clearly he's right. He's saying that like nobody in the music industry really cares about what you do as an artist. They just kind of work you as long as you make the money, the music, and what they need.
That's fair.
Stack it up, stack it up, stack it up, stack it up. So we're kind of just dealing with the materialism of rap. It's all about the money. It's all about the luxury. It's all about that. Pack it up, pack it up. Whoa, hold on, man. Grow, live at the day's end. So pack it up, kind of like whipping in the kitchen, stack the pack, get ready, get the, the bricks, the birds, all that ready to go. Whoa, hold up, man. Grown, live at the day's end. It's like, I feel like now he's kind of expressing that this is what we idolize in music. That drug trapping, money making, the quickest way to flip a dollar, all this stuff, and gun violence is kind of what we are addressing and glorifying in rap. And when he goes grown, live at the day's end, it's like, I feel like he's mocking a lot of these older rappers or older people who might be still rapping and trapping drugs. And it's like, you should be different now. You should be a little bit wiser. You should be out of that game. You shouldn't be doing that. So I feel like he's kind of addressing a lot on this song so far. Do you have anything so far? Or?
I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. And it is kind of done in a more modern trap kind of sound to the song. Like he's kind of playing up on, typical sounds in his own weird way. Mm-hmm. I do think that it's fine. I think it is not that deep. I mean, you're probably right in what you're saying. I just feel like he's kind of jaded with the situation. He's not necessarily... Like, I just like the idea of a grimy waifu. Like, a waifu is like, this fucking pillow character thing. Like, it's your anime person that you're in love with, and you get it printed on a pillow usually, and you cuddle with this pillow at night. So you're grimy waifu, like this negative thing that you're attracted to, in a sense, or something grimy or dirty.
I thought he was making a funny way of saying wifey.
I mean, a waifu is just a thing. It's a whole anime term. And it is a funny wifey. It's a pillow. It really, I mean, I might be belittling this, and if you have a waifu, I'm sorry. Not really sorry, but kind of sorry. I don't understand it. I think it's weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Like a big body pillow?
It's just, I think it's kind of weird to fall in love with fictional characters, in a sense. It's one thing to obsess over it, be infatuated with the idea of something, but to actually have like actual affection for fictional characters is not something I fully understand. That's just me. Maybe I'm closed-minded, but I'm pretty open-minded in a lot of ways. Just in that way, it's hard. But anyway, so he does this thing. I don't think you're wrong. I feel like everything's kind of fucked up. Go out there, get what you gotta get. But in the sense, he goes, they think in Tinder with the topic. I take the wins out with the losses. You see me gripping with the gossip. Now I'm eating dinner with bosses. I hit the vape because it's needed. Fall asleep like Tempur-Pedic, and it's just kind of like, oh, so he's out there playing the game, gets high, passes out, goes along with the life, goes on. It's just another day.
Well, I think it's sectioned differently. So you got the I ain't got no Burka bags all the way up until live at the day's end. I feel like that section of the verse is like kind of mocking what we glorify in rap right now. And then in the second part, so my appetite to
it's
bosses.
So I don't think it's what people glorify. I think it's what the industry pushes.
Okay, so that. So it's what kind of I guess the industry wants to push and have us see. So then he goes, saying like he's different. My appetite made me nauseous. They think Tinder with the topic cautious. I take the wins with the losses as gossip, and I'm eating with dinner with bosses. But I feel like my appetite and the dinner with bosses is where that kind of couple of bars end, because he's saying that because my appetite made me nauseous and I had to change shit up, I went through.
So you're gonna tell me that hitting the weed bar isn't connected to nauseous?
No. Because, yes,
I don't agree.
you're right.
I think the entire second half is connected. There's no extra separation. After the bosses, he's going to hit the weed and pass out because of a stressful day winning in the industry? That's connected, in my little opinion over here.
That's all I was saying.
Gotta light, I'll be there. They kill Mott for no reason. I hear him. I think he gets real serious with it because he looks at it like the industry is ultimately killing people and profiting off of the death of people for the sake of money, and it's really bad. So his songs ultimately may as well just be bullets. So I guess maybe it's a little deeper than I thought, but I don't know. Maybe it just was really like, it felt like kind of an obvious metaphor to me. That's maybe to me, whatever. I thought this one was a 4.25. I don't like it as much as the other ones. It's okay.
I did. I thought I actually gave it a 4.5. I like the vibe to it. I like the flow. I like the rapping. I like the production. It had a little bit more modern feel to it. It was the first song that I was like, okay, this is something that I'm more vibing to it. It felt more similar to me, I guess. But it also had that weird, unique little taste to it. So it was dope. 4.5.
All right, the next song is called PTSD. So this one feels like he doesn't. I get the feeling he doesn't necessarily like everybody that he deals with in life. Has a longer intro. He coughs on it. You hear the beat tag. He's very high. His eyes are watering, bruh. It feels like he's in a certain vibe right now, just feeling away. And
It's a
then
bong toke.
young slut from the bottom of the East Coast, kid that blicky in the money in the mattress, bulldog like Trish Stratus, and I'm like, did he just bring up a female wrestler in his bars? That's pretty fresh, because his beatmaker tag is also wrestling, so it makes total sense. Don't start to semi-spitting like you don't flop. No shots get to picture you and your both crop. Pistol whip him in the pussy in a headlock. I hate when talk shit and they scared to get hit. So in a sense, I feel like we're kind of going into the same ideas that we previously explored. He's ridiculously tough. He's legitimate. He comes in and wrecks careers in a sense. And people come at him and talk a bunch of shit. They're a little bit afraid to bring it up in real life. Where in the world was you when you dropped?
Bruh, don't stop.
Lethal weapon. I hit this with the dead stock. Shit looking like Splinter Cell, special ops, cops, all that bullshit. So in a sense, he's kind of saying y'all are kind of like little snitches and sneaking around and looking a little bit suspicious and weird. And if you think about it, the Splinter Cell and the special ops and these sneaky behaviors kind of does look a little narky.
I need a new Splinter Cell game to come out.
Okay. I never really like stealth shooters, but that's my... either way, I thought it was pretty cool and aggressive. And then he's like, yo, y'all kind of disgust me, is what I'm taking from that first verse. And then that second verse, barely any time passes. When I hit you, don't be calling no cops. So in a sense, if I'm gonna knock you in the face because you talked all that shit,
right,
don't be snitching,
Right.
I thought that was an interesting point. Don't come here unless you're gonna play by the rules. Not one bar, no clips, no drops. Y'all won't get infected if I don't call you. You should get the message.
Hey.
Pay attention to this situation.
Y'all deal looks something like Brexit, biting crackers and wondering why you anorexic.
And that's fantastic, right? Y'all basically ended up with a fucked up deal. Your situation's not right, and if you can't say it to my face, I don't respect it. It's pointing out, you better be willing to back up whatever you're willing to say on the internet to me. Again, reinforcing and doubling down on that. It's got a very aggressive feel, and then it just kind of gets all weird and spacey and kind of an interesting, kind of trippy feel as the song kind of fades out, and you're left with this thing where it's I think PTSD is an interesting title. Like, you can tell in a sense he's almost scarred by his experiences with other people, and he's really not happy with maybe the way certain people behave and act. On the other hand, he's like aggressively lashing out because of it through, like, you know, a song like this.
It's also like an insight into his past. Like, he's also getting PTSD from the things he's lived, experienced, and whatnot. So, you know.
Yep. That's kind of
young slut from the bottom of the East Coast, keep the blicky. Like, I don't think he's from the bottom anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is kind of like a trip in his past, and we're getting where he comes from and who he is. And not to say he might not, you know, fuck you up now, but he's giving us that context of, like, y'all need to know who, like, where I'm from.
Well, I think he's putting out, like, y'all talk a lot of things. I actually understand what I'm talking about. You know, like, I don't think he's trying to make it like a focal point that he's coming from this kind of an environment. I think he's trying to, referencing it almost lightly to say, I can tell you're full of shit. You know, like, because barely any of this is about, like, his, let's say, nefarious actions in life. It's just like, I know what it is. Keep the blicky and the money in the mattress. That one little lyric implies a whole lot of things, right? But preceding the rest of that, it's basically like, y'all are a little bit fake, you know? And he uses gun references, but I don't know. I like the way he just kind of puts it all together.
Fair enough. I really like the flow of this. I like his, like, quick little fast rapping. That was really cool to the ear. I really like this song. This was another 4.5.
I give it a 4.35. I thought it was, like, really cool, but at the same time, like, I don't know that this is the kind of album where, like, I'm really gonna go and put random songs on and have them just, like, play through. Like, a lot of this to me is like, you gotta play the album and just, like, listen to the whole thing in a row and just kind of listen to it like that to get, like, a proper experience, because everything just kind of flows into everything in, like, a culminating kind of way. So I don't really know that when I'm grading this even that I would ever really go listen to a lot of these songs individually. Maybe the first one. There are a few, like, I think if it came on it would be nice, don't get me wrong, but this is a weird, unique flow where it almost needs the whole album, I think, to function. You can let me know what you think about that. Like, is JPEGMAFIA a singles guy to you, or is it something you can just play through in the whole album?
When you say flow, you talk a flow of project? Or?
Like, just listening to the album, like, okay. Like, individually, there aren't, like, songs here that are, like, popping up going, gotta go, like, jump at that, but, like, as a whole, this whole album is, like, something I want to go put on again when I'm, like, when I have, like, you know, when you're working and you want to get some upbeat feels on or whatever, like, it's got a totally practical function, but I feel like it works more cohesively as an album so far.
I think it's preference, because I'm going back to to PTSD and Grimy Waifu.
But they're like
just as, like, singles. Like, I'm gonna, like,
I don't know.
If I wake up,
PTSD is like 2 minutes and 28 seconds.
But I think that's why I don't mind. Like, it's like, I could put it on, get a little nice little, like, some weird, funky, but nice, got that modern feel to it, trappy vibe, quick rap.
But, like, let's say you're on shuffle. There's almost nothing this is flowing into to me, like, or flowing from. Like, it's such
I don't know. It's got a Tyler. No. So far, I've kind of hear, like, a Tyler, the Creator. I kind of hear, like, some weird Deltron. Like, I hear...
Where do you hear Tyler, the Creator? Or maybe, like,
a lot of his beat productions.
A lot of the older stuff.
I know a lot of the weird Igor stuff I hear, too.
I don't hear
like,
the Igor
a lot
stuff
of just the
all.
Beat productions, the way he kind of sings and stuff.
From the same Igor, the one that just came out, where Tyler was, like, in a higher pitch and using synths the whole album.
I'm saying that I'm not saying it sounds exactly the same. I'm saying that there is some type of, like, when I hear this, I was like, oh, I remember that sound from Tyler. I remember that type of feel.
I mean, sure.
So I feel like there's some inspiration. There's some maybe like, oh, that's a cool idea or whatnot.
I mean, I honestly feel like, if anything, it reminds me of older Tyler, and the energy and the raw cut, like, inclusiveness. But Igor was a polished fucking pop album. All things considered, I don't know. I don't hear the Igor influence at all. Maybe because there's, like, weird synthy instruments, I guess. I don't know. That's fine. You're allowed to like what you like and whatnot. Still, I think it's fine. I think it works as an album, like I said. Anyway, the next track on the project is Rap, Grow Old and Die, and then No Child Left Behind.
I'm a la carte. They want me Kevin James, bitch, pay me like Kevin Hart.
Apparently, Frank Ocean is involved in the production of this track. Or no, a collaborator of Frank Ocean, Vegan, is involved. So maybe there is some connection to the Odd Future camp after all, adding credence to Christopher's theories. I sound like more of a dick than I am, internet. I know the old-time fans are like, fuck, he has to stop saying that. It's not gonna happen. I like how he starts this with Peggy 18, because I found out a fun pun for the Peggy rating system, which is how Europe rates video games. So it's like saying this is an 18-plus album.
Oh.
I thought that was clever. Fucking funny. Then this girl or whoever's like, it's a weed song. And you're like, what the fuck is this shit? And then the hook comes in, going like Bobby. Is that Ricky Bobby? I couldn't figure out who the fuck Bobby was.
I don't know. It's going like, I thought it was Ricky Bobby.
Or maybe it's like Bobby
Schmidt.
Brown. Bobby Brown end up like Michael Jackson. I don't know. Like, I couldn't figure this out. If y'all can clarify that, I would really appreciate it.
Maybe because I feel like the song's about the industry in terms of going around in cycles.
I feel like it's about how people treat him. So like I feel like Sami Zayn, my moves are making waves, tell the writers, writing the title, two guns like Lara Croft, I look like Herman Kenan, dressed like Johnny John. So here it's like he's coming in guns blazing, you know, doing his thing. But it almost feels like on this track, like there's a degree of success and confidence.
But isn't that a wrestling reference?
Who?
Write the title, he feels like somebody.
I mean, Genius says that, I guess. I didn't really look at that. I don't know.
Anyway, in any case, the reason why is because I wrote.
I mean, basically we have baby, you go and pull you apart, real estate in your skin, I break a hateful heart, I feel this cracker A&Rs think I'm Alucard, they want me Kevin James, bitch, I pay me like Kevin Hart.
Yeah, that kind of makes me feel like he's talking about the industry and that it's like cycles. So you have the cycle where it's like, oh yeah, you're doing good, you're fine, and then like in behind the scenes it's like, yo, you're not really making the money, you're not really getting what you're supposed to be deserved or whatnot, but you have to like go into this weird fucking twisted cycle so you can like eventually get to where you want to be.
I mean, I took it more like Kevin James is gonna be a white dude who plays the part and does what he's supposed to do. And Kevin Hart, if we think back to the Grammy, said, you know what, fuck y'all, I'm not gonna, put up with your games, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. That's how I took that. Like, he's gonna fight back against the authority and stand up for what he believes in as being right.
Be part of the industry if
I don't know what your cycle crap's going on. To me, this song is like, I'm winning, I'm getting some clout, people are misinterpreting me, people are pegging me a certain way that I'm not necessarily like into, and I guess it's just like this vicious cycle. And I think it's more how fame impacts you and changes you. So I guess in that regard there's a cycle, like the cycle of fame that's coming in, but I don't know if it's really such an industry thing or just kind of fame in general. Like, let the kids crown me king for this art. So on the one hand people are praising me like this, the industry's trying to figure out how to make money on me, etc. I can't behave myself, man. It's like a cycle. I heard Peggy selling out. He got a whip in the house. And then as things are going well, your own fans are going to turn on you and judge you for selling out and doing well for yourself. And it's just kind of like, yep, it's a vicious cycle and it's going to happen again. And then, in the second verse, they're playing with my name, Young Peggy Bring the Pain. So people are talking shit about him now because he's got successful. Now he's got these haters coming in. And I think it's just that it's more than the industry. I think this takes into account the fans and the listeners and the everybody encompassing him. I click a bitch, I'm Adam Sandler, bringing major pain, Damian Wayne, I'm the prodigal son. Fine. Click's a really shit movie. I don't know if you like Click. It's an Adam Sandler movie with the remote control.
I've seen it. It's okay.
I will not forget the scene where he fast forwards through sex for the first time and then he realizes he has to fast forward through sex for the rest of his life, and he can't. And that was funny. But then you can see where it's also like his peers and shit too. I got booked for Coachella. Enemies can't say the same. I've been beefing with bums. I should find healthier game. I skin a fucking rapper, perfect pelt, bogus chain. People pretend to be Peggy but can't master the wave. So it's like, I just feel like this song is basically really grandiose. Fuck the haters. Turns out no matter how you go about this, no matter who you are, some of this shit's just the same. That's kind of what I took. Like, people in general are just kind of full of shit.
I like how he addresses himself as being Bane.
I guess. I didn't realize that's what he was doing there.
Well, these boys be bleep on Twitter and thinking they break and change. I think they full of shit. Some people feel the same. Some people need a hero. My homies need a Bane.
I don't really know the significance of Bane as a Batman villain.
Well, I like the fact that because from what I understand, Bane grew up in a prison, but he's not like overall a bad, like he's not a villain. From what I understand, he follows orders from someone else, but he's got his own like story and of whatever thing. I just like the fact that he's associated himself with a villain and not with the hero. Like he doesn't want to be somebody of like that type of status. I don't want to be labeled as that. Like I make mistakes, I fuck up. Like
I kind of took it like in a different way. I took it like some people need a hero to like inspire them or whatever, and some people need a villain to fuck them up. Like some people just talk shit and need, you know.
But that's what. Okay, I see that.
I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know. Like,
well, because I do know that.
Because I don't know if Bane has like some specific like if you were to say Two-Faced as a character or Joker, like I know the lore of those characters.
I've had conversations with people who, when you have the conversation about like what superhero do you like or whatnot, they go, "Oh, I don't like relate to the superheroes. I'm more of the."
Yeah, but
the
he's not saying he's a villain. He's saying these people need a villain, need a Bane, a specific villain.
Because, and I feel like because the people that he might be talking to, that he might be like reaching out to, don't really see themselves as a superhero.
But so
they see themselves as villains.
Yeah, but he's talking specifically. I think they full of shit. Some people feel the same. So he's talking about like those fucking people. Mm-hmm. Some people need a hero. Oh, I guess I see what you're saying. So when he's saying my people need the Bane, he's saying the people that I make music for basically are looking out for an imperfect villain and not some fake ass. Okay, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. See, people, I listen to Chris.
The way that you were just saying it, some people they think they feel. I think they full of shit. Some people feel the same. Some people need a hero. Might need Bane. You know what? I could also see how he's like, yeah, they need to get their ass kicked.
And then it just flips up into this thing named after U.S. Action No Child Left Behind, which is some education thing, which I don't really know about because I'm in Canada. You know what? I just want to ha, ooh, like a baby fresh out the womb. New time, so feeble. I'm evil. Don't treat me like no child, baby. And it almost feels like at the end, it's like this almost rebirth as he embraces the role of what he's supposed to do. But it flips into this like positive, airy, singy, nice thing, which is just such a weird juxtaposition. But a lot of these songs have these like two parts, which I think are really fun, even though this is the only one with two parts in the title. But still, it's a really cool song. I thought it worked really well for the purpose of what was going on this album. And I gave it another 4.35. Like, it's equal quality to like what we've been listening to, in my opinion.
I gave it a 4. I thought it was cool. I thought the rapping was solid. I thought I think it was nice. It's just,
all right. Well, the next track on the album is called "All My Heroes Are Cornballs." It's the title song. I think this song is all of that parable crap Chris was talking about, or satire, where like to me this sounds like he's making fun of mainstream. A little bit. I don't know about you.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
So think about it like from the perspective of he's jaded with like the mainstream.
Right.
And the song is called "All My Heroes Are Cornballs," so let's say that's the industry. And then beginning JPEG, because I like JPEGs for the resolution and color. I thought that was such a fucking weird intro, but
I mean, I actually appreciate it because when I think of JPEG and the coloring and the building of like the thumbnails and the photoshops, I like the different colors of a JPEG. They're bright, they're detailed, they're more...
You see a difference between PNG, TIFF? I don't see a difference.
Yeah.
I never really looked.
There's, depends on how much you do it. Like, I see it. And I
didn't even know there was a real difference. So there we go.
The JPEGs are more defined. It's not pixelated.
But then he goes into the verse. Whatever. I'm staying. I'm just playing.
Right.
Walk in the crib with a Glock 19 and a dirty clip. Snuck up in Coachella with a bong, little buddy. I ain't Jaden Smith. So it's almost like he's kind of goofing off a little bit. Like, I'm here to stay. I'm just playing with y'all. But then I'm going to come in and say something real. I'm actually gangster enough to walk into Coachella with a bong. I ain't nice like Jaden Smith.
But this is where I get confused. I can't keep no job. I can't commit. Hate goes into these bars, some people ain't built for it. I made rap my job, it's sacred. You don't want to get them guns involved, cause your wife gonna be calling the law. Like, it just sounds like, I don't know.
It's basically, to me, it sounds like, yo, I'm kind of crazy. You don't want to smoke.
But is that in a way making fun or mocking the new rappers, or is that he's just letting you know, like, I'll shoot you?
I don't know. I feel like he's just that. Basically, people are kind of. I feel like he's kind of calling out how everyone who's saying this kind of stuff is really corny at the end of the day, you know? These out here, man, gnarly, fuck. Like, it's almost like he's not trying to make a good song. It's like he's not that he's not trying to make a good song, but he's making fun of, like, the typical tropes of boring repetitiveness that comes on a lot. And then he goes into the second verse. Guess we had a big new year. No whips, no change, just a few tears. Pop filter, hoping you get the stock when I hit the stage. I hope my enemy's watching. So he points out, like, he had a really good album drop. You know, things are going well. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have all of these things that these people are pretending to have as they rent these things. So his perspective allows him to know how broke everyone else is because, yo, given his numbers, he has actual insight into the value of what other people are. Mm-hmm. And then he wants people to be jealous, you know? And then, damn, I wonder when they dropping. Why these wiggas always showing up when be popping? Bruh, don't turn yourself into a target because we can take this shit from beef to something exhausting. So I think he's pointing out, yo, whenever somebody authentic and real comes out, you got a bunch of fake-ass gangsters coming on through pretending they're a certain way. But, yo, at the end of the day, he's going to come in and take you out if you really want to get down to it.
I may have, okay, so somebody in the comments, and Holden, please correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Wigga, like, white?
Yes,
right.
But it's a fake gangster.
Right.
It's like a white guy who wants to be black.
Okay. So I know exactly what it meant.
But I don't think he's talking about that. I think he's trying to double down on how fake you actually look by comparing people to Wiggas.
Right. But the reason why I'm kind of, like, stuck on that is because imagine it's kind of like you're working, you're rapping. People are giving you your flowers, respecting you, whatever. But you're not seeing that, like, crowd of, like, white gangsters.
But it's more.
But then
I don't think it's like that. I think he's looking at, like, guys who are walking around there pretending they're a whole bunch of shit and saying, to me, you look like a bunch of wiggers. Like, you guys look like those dudes because you're so pathetic in your attempts to fake this life that you're not real about. That's how, like, I see that going on. Right? It isn't about the crowd or anything, but then I guess maybe you're right. Maybe it is something.
Like, I'm just saying.
Okay,
like,
maybe you're right. Maybe it's kind of like
because now he's famous. Like, how many people listen to somebody like a Meek Mill?
You're right
because Meek Mill's famous.
No. I guess I see what you're saying. Again, so you're pointing. So it's like if you're really real, why is your audience so white? Because the real don't recognize you. Why do you have so many fake ass people showing up in the crowd?
That's deeper than what I thought. I was just making the fact of, like, when white gangsters start showing up to your shows. Like, I feel like he's mimicking the fact fake, of, like, when they show up.
That's what we're saying.
Like,
but I think when he's saying that, like, I think he's trying to, like, point it out, like, yo, maybe, on the one hand, why is it that, when you're popping, so many of these fake-ass people show up? I don't know, maybe. It's an interesting lyric. But if you go out of your way to have these fake-ass types show up, that's going to make you become a target over on, because those are likely going to be the worst types of people out there.
Well, I like when he goes, don't turn yourself into a target because we can't take this shit from beef to something exhausting. Glock 43X with a sticky holster, pistol whip him because I can't waste a bullet in a poser. I like that. I like how he's conservative about his bullets. He's also attacking them like, yo, you were so fake that I'm not even going to waste a bullet on you. I don't even want to try to kill you. I'm just going to knock you out.
I really like the line, incels getting close because I crossed over. Like, I used to be a certain way, and now I'm over here, and everyone else is getting jealous and acting and showing out how they really are. Overall, I think this is a really, like, cool song. It ends out with this guy, like, ordering, like, Wendy's, which I thought was pretty funny. And it was because I kind of want a bacon smokehouse now.
I feel like it kind of adds to. I feel like it does play nice on the title, as in, like, somebody that's so gangster. I think it's kind of funny in a way, and it kind of connects to the song because it's not like it's cornballish to go to Wendy's, but the dude sounds mad high. Like the dude sounds mad spacey in the outro, and he kind of, oh, I'm gonna take no, not the Burger Mac.
I think it's
and
almost
then like the cashier asks him a question like, okay, what type of drink? And he's like, oh, I'll have the big drink meal. Like he's not really paying attention. So I think it's kind of supposed to be this like, you're kind of cornballish. You're kind of not really there. You're kind of.
I think it's like even showing visibly. This is more like what you're like when you're completely like out of it. You know, you're not really.
Oh
hard.
shit! Yeah. I see that.
I don't know. I liked it though. I thought it like was an interesting song, all things considered, and I gave it a 4.35 on 5.
I gave it a 4. I'll be honest. It was a hit or miss for me. I like the presentation. I like the lyrics. I like his flow. I don't think I'm ever gonna diss his flow on any of these songs. Like he's really talented on how he just switches up from the sing-songy to the rapidy rap. It was all super cool. But 4 on 5.
Anyway, we're gonna take a little break here. Is the end of part 1, and we're gonna get ready to record part 2, as the video is getting a little bit long now. So definitely let us know what you think so far in the comments. We'd love to have a little conversation with you down there. If you do like the video, you can hit like. If you want to subscribe, you can get part 2 and all sorts of new reviews we haven't even thought of yet. And yeah, we look forward to sharing this journey with you. Special thanks to the patrons: Milka Dempsey, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Lindo, Williams, and Coney Sparks. They're dope. They support what we do. They help us get a new camera. They're going to help us get a website very soon, because that's time consuming. And they get to tell us what albums they want to review. So if you want to support us, it's a great way to do so. It's a very direct way to do so, and it's awesome of you if you do. Anyways, otherwise, we look forward to seeing you the next time. We make music. You can check that out on the channel. And we're going to go get ready to record part 2.